Welcome. I got some exciting news for us today. I'm about to break a 7-day water fast in front of you all. So I want to share that with you. Would love to give you the news, tell you what it's all about, what I experienced and everything. I literally have a bowl that I'm going to break my water fast with. So as you're coming in, whether live or on replay, let me know where you're coming in from as well too. And let me know as well, put a 1 in the chat. Have you ever tried any type of a fast before? Have you tried any type of fast before? Put a 1 in the chat, whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it is an actual water fast. Like, what are the types of fasts that you've tried in your life before? Yeah, definitely had a great Sunday. Thank you so much. And yeah, so has anyone tried a water fast before, whether live or in replay, and or any type of fast itself? There's a lot of benefits to it. And today, if you've been following me, I've been on a journey. I've been on a fasting journey, and I want to describe that today. And I'm so excited to describe that. First, I'm going to break it today in front of you all. But at the same time, I also want to, what's up, Philadelphia? I also want to be able to share with you what I learned from it, what I want to share with you as well. Daniel's fast, awesome. Daniel fast is super great. If you don't know what a Daniel fast is, it's basically a vegan fast. It's basically like that, but it's a powerful fast. So I decided to do, for the first time in my life, a complete 7-day water fast. And then a little bit, I'm going to break my fast right here with what it is that I got going on. But let me make sure that my connection here is working okay and that we're all right here. So give me a second. Sorry for the disturbance. I'll be good to go. Okay, I'll be good. Okay, so fasting is quite fascinating. And I want to describe why it is that I did it, what the benefits are, what I received through this, and how this can benefit you as well too. So once again, if you did a fast of any type, put a 1 in the chat, or let me know what kind of a fast that you did as well. All right. So have you ever felt stuck before? Like, you just felt stuck. You felt a little bit lost. You felt a little bit like, I don't know what my next direction is. Maybe you had made a decision in your life. Maybe you're worried about something. Maybe it's some financial situation, some business decisions, some life decisions, and you just can't really get out of your own head. And you're like, man, I just need some guidance here. I need to seek for something here, And that was in a place where I was. As we're ending this year, I was sharing how in our business, in our life, and everything, this is one of those times when a lot of different thoughts come through our mind. And while I'm excited for a lot of things that happen in our life, we had a breakthrough year, we had a lot of cool trips, a lot of cool things in our business, in our life. At the same time, there was a lot of things that in my own personal life, I missed the mark on. And I was grappling with these things. And especially when it comes to your goals, like it can be a little daunting, right? You look at the goals that you tend to look at the things that you didn't do rather than the things that you did do. That's kind of how our mind works, unfortunately. We look at the negative more than we do on our positive itself. So what happened was I was really searching for some answers. I was really thinking, like, how do I go out there and how do I seek these answers here? And I don't want to end this year without a breakthrough. And maybe you're in that place with me as well too, where you want to break through drastically, right? In your business, in your finances, in your life, in your health, whatever that it is. And I just didn't want to wait until 2023. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't want to say, 2022, it's done. It's holidays. Like, let's go do something different. I want to do something where it's like, no, this year is going to be different. This year is going to be spectacular. This year is going to be a banner year. And I felt like I had exhausted all my options. I felt like I'd exhausted all the plans that there were. And I ended up deciding to go to an option, which I think should be the first option out there, which is I should just go to God. Straight up, I should just go to God. And I think for me, it's a struggle. And if you're a person of faith or any type of spirituality, let me know as well too. But I'm not you. But my struggle is I try to do it all myself. And I try to pray, but I'll kind of pray and then God's not on our timeline, right? Like, he's kind of too slow. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know the details of our life. If he knew, then he'd act faster, right? Like, that was kind of my thought right there. And typically what would happen is I would be impatient and then I try to do things my way, try to force it. If it were to be, it's up to me, right? I'm the captain of my fate, master of my soul. And as if you've ever tried that before, you realize that it doesn't really work well. There's a way that seems right to man and leads to death, it says in Proverbs. And God knows it all. So I decided this. I said, with a month on the clock, I'm going to do something to really get closer to God. Because if there's one person in the world that can produce miracles and breakthroughs, it's not me, because I already tried it my way, but it's God Himself. And let me take God on His word. Let me take God on His promises. That was the thought to everything. So, what I decided to do is I looked through the Bible, and whether you're a person of faith or not, it's interesting what the Bible says about things. But if you notice, anybody that did anything of particular huge impact, you look at Moses, he did a period of 40 days of water fast, a straight fast. He didn't drink or eat or anything. Supposedly, it was a supernatural fast. Jesus himself did a 40-day fast. David did a fast. Daniel did a fast. So many great people in the Bible themselves did a fast. And even in today's day and age, there's a lot of good science on fasting, health benefits. If you look all over YouTube, I know intermittent fasting is a big thing now, but also just fasting as a whole, even a straight water fast. So I consider this topic because one thing that I saw was in the Bible, there was a pattern of breakthrough where those that wanted to seek wisdom from God fasted, they prayed, and they studied. They fasted, they prayed, and they studied. And that was the habit right there. And they were able to hear clearly from God. Basically, I was at a place where I want to hear straight from God on certain requests. And maybe you have some requests that you have as well too. Put a 2 in the chat if you have anything you would love God's wisdom on. You would love His wisdom on. You just love to know His take on what it is that in your life, in your business, in your finances, and whatever that it is. So I decided to call God out on His promises. And I said, I'm dedicating a water fast. Marla, yeah, I'm dedicating a fast. And for me, I felt that I was being led to do a water fast because I love food. And so I felt if I could give up something to be closer to the Lord, then that would be amazing, right? So I ended up doing a water fast. Now, last week, I did a 3-day water fast. Awesome, Marla. Awesome, Melissa. I did a 3-day water fast. I broke it because Thanksgiving happened. It was a great experience. I actually wasn't hungry. It wasn't as hard as what I expected, actually. But this week but I didn't get the answers I was looking for. So I said, I'm going to commit at least 7 days to a complete water fast. And until I get the answers to everything that I have. So if you're jotting notes, if you ever consider any type of fast, and there's many different types of them, or if you're seeking wisdom, you have to be very specific with what you're looking for. Okay, so I had a series of maybe like 5 different questions, 5 different requests, right? Business decisions, purpose decisions, clarity decisions, different types of leadership decisions that I had, right? Family decisions. So we put this all together in very specific prayers, and I put that before God, and I'm like, God, here it is. And I commit to fasting until I get these answers. My mind, it said 7, but I'm like, it doesn't matter, as much as it takes. So it ended up 7 days ago, Sunday night is when I started this fast. And I'm not even kidding you. Over the course of the days, especially these last couple of days, all of my prayers, all of my questions were answered very clearly. Extremely clearly. Like so clearly, it was like, wow, this is just like perfect. This is how it's supposed to be. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this thing actually worked right there. It actually worked right there. And I'm just so excited about that. And today I want to actually break my fast with you guys and show you guys like what I'm doing exactly. And I'll go over some details on what I experienced. But first, I just want to, really give it up to God because God knows. There's a verse that's set in James 1:5, which says that if you want wisdom, ask God for it, right? Ask God for wisdom, and He will give it to you freely and without any reproach. God is the source of all wisdom, right? Maybe you know Him as Spirit or universe, whatever that it is. But for me, it's God Himself, right? And He's always on time. He's always on time. So let me break this real quick, and then I'll describe some more details of what happened. But what I'm doing is, I heard that after a elongated fast, you should probably do a liquid one. So I got some chicken broth. So literally for 7 days, no joke, I was only drinking water. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, you did a 3-day liquid fast. Congratulations, Fidel. Thanks so much for the congrats. I was intending on going further, but it was basically until I got my answers, right? So I'm going to drink some chicken broth here. And no liquids yet, but wow, that was freaking awesome. Oh my gosh. That was the best chicken broth in the world. If you know me, I love food. I love food so much. That was freaking delicious. Wow. Okay. I'll um I'll try some of that later. But let me describe a couple of things that I learned through this, and maybe this will encourage you if you're in a season where you want to get more clarity. Maybe you're in a season where you want more focus. Maybe you're in a season you just want to cleanse. So what happened, right? So let me give you some other details as well. Side benefit: I wasn't aiming to do this as a weight loss thing, but I ended up losing. I started last week at 180.6 pounds, 180.6. Today I weighed in at 167.6 pounds. So I ended up losing 13.2 pounds in 7 days. So that was nuts. I'm the leanest I've been. I haven't lost muscle. When you actually do a fast, what's interesting is it puts your body into a ketosis state. So you're burning your fat bodies, your fat ketones. You're not burning your muscles itself. It also puts your body into a very big regenerative state. Fidel probably knows this. It's called autophagy, where your body literally is recycling bad cells, negative things that are in your body. And it's just amazing how our bodies have been designed. So literally you get healthy. In fact, something that I studied on fasting itself, straight water fast, is that if you have people that have cancer, right, really significant illnesses, something that's recommended to them is a water fast. Because when they do a water fast, their immune system gets boosted, their body actually gets into the autophagy state, and it starts to even attack the things like cancer as well too. It's just incredible what starts to happen, and the body's just able to refresh itself, right? A big portion of our energies are focused to digestion, and it really balances out a lot of things in your body. Now, if you're considering a fast too, I'd say if you have medical conditions, talk to a medical advisor on this for a prolonged fast and do some research on it. But I have no health markers or anything. So, but really my big thing was I wasn't doing this for a diet, right? There's fasting for a diet, which is great, but there's also fasting for spiritual clarity, right? And what I really, really wanted was to hear clearly the voice of God. And why is fasting good for this? Well, fasting, what it does, if you know that we're made of spirit, we have a mind or a soul, and then we have a body, right? Our mind or our soul, that's where our emotions are, our will, our discernment, all these types of things. That's what controls our life, doesn't it? Nothing happens in our life until we decide to do it. So the mind is so powerful. It's so important. However, what tends to happen is that we get influenced, our mind gets influenced, our soul gets influenced by our bodily wants. That could be literal food. Like imagine for me, I love food. So when I think about food, I wake up, I eat breakfast. After that, I think about lunch. After that, I think about dinner. Like my mind's thinking about food a lot. But not only just bodily cravings, like not just like that physical craving, but other cravings, right? Lust. You got things like maybe social media craving, maybe it's entertainment craving, maybe it's distractions, right? There's a lot of different things that we want to satisfy in our body. But what happens is that's not the best for our mind. We all know that if we're just reactive to life, then it's not going to be the best things. Tomorrow, Fidel's starting a water fast. I am definitely keeping you accountable. Congratulations, man. Let's freaking do it, man. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. But when you do a fast, what it does is it shuts off that voice from your body that is so strong in our life. All the decisions in our life that we make basically based off our natural wants tends not to be the best decisions. I'm sure we've experienced that, right? So when you do a fast, it shuts off the voice to your body, and it makes it so that you are now more in tune and you can actually hear more clearly from your spirit, right? From your spirit. And that's what we want. If we want God's wisdom in our life, we want clarity in our life, we want purpose in our life, we want answers, we got to shut off this voice, the body voice, and we got to get God's voice in our life, our spirit's voice in our life. So that the spirit, it says that in Romans 12:2, that transformation, do not be conformed by this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when you shut down your body, you allow the spirit to be able to renew your mind, and you're able to hear a lot more clearly, right? So that's how you do the fast itself. Now, in the fast, if you do a spiritual one, it's supposed to be replaced with something else. Now, what makes a spiritual fast easier, I think, than just a diet straight up? Because honestly, you know what's crazy? I was so amazed by this. My mother-in-law was asking me to this today, like, how'd you feel on the fast? To be honest, the second day was a little hard. The second day, there were some cravings. But every day after that, I'm not hungry at all. I have plenty of energy. I'm vibrant, I'm clear-minded, I'm not groggy, I'm not anything weird. The first 1 or 2 days are a little bit tough because you're adjusting to this whole fasting situation. But you actually have very clear-mindedness, a lot of great energy. Like I just sat through a whole 3-day training experience, which was like almost, I don't know, 10 hours a day. And I'm still vibrant. I just got out. I'm still vibrant right now, you know? So as you go through this fast, though, also what you're supposed to do in a spiritual fast is you fill the time with two other things. Number one, prayer. This is supposed to be a time when you're able to speak more with the Lord, speak more with God, connect more with God. Because you don't have your mind isn't as on a lot of things anymore. If you just didn't eat every day, you'd have an extra hour back in your life, for example. So that extra time and energy and focus, you spend it to put your mind on the things of God. Our goal is to be able to in tune with our spirit. Our goal is to be able to have our mind be renewed by the spirit, right? So number one is a lot of prayer, a lot of specific prayer. So I found myself praying a lot, verbally, typing it, whatever it is, just praying a lot, just putting my requests out and to clarify my prayer. And then also from there, what you're supposed to do to gain clarity is replace that time with reading scripture. Right? For me, I'm a biblical person, so reading scripture, reading what I believe is God's word. The only way to know God's will in your life is to know his word. So I was reading a lot, right? Whenever I was a little bit hungry or tempted, I was reading the word to fill my mind, to fill my body with something else, right? God's bread is what he calls it, right? Doing studies. I've been doing daily Bible studies and everything as well to seek spiritual truth. And what that allows you to start to do is renew your mind. You're starting to fill your mind with different types of things, how God thinks, and to hear him more clearly. If you want to hear God, the best way to hear God is to read his word, because his spoken word will not contradict his written word. You don't need some divine revelation. You don't need some aha moment. You don't need some like angel to be sent down to you. The best way is literally just read what he's written already. And as you know that better, as you know what he wrote, as you know what he spoke, that's why it's called God's word, then you're going to be able to hear his voice a lot more clearly as well too. So I was going through this 7-day fast. I'm going to take another sip of this amazing chicken broth right here. That is phenomenal. Wow. My dog is saying hi as well too. But I was going through this. I started to continue to pray, and I started to continue to put my requests on. And you know, I started realizing is that when you continue to pray about something, you're persistent about something, you tend to refine your prayer further. You get clarity on exactly what you're asking, right? It's like a lot of times in the beginning, we say we know what we want. I want to make a lot of money, but really it's not. You know, you want more purpose, you want more fulfillment, you want more respect, you want to be able to help your mom, whatever that it is. You have to keep on asking questions. Ask and you shall receive, right? Keep on asking, keep on seeking, keep on knocking. I got my prayers clarified. Number one. So I knew exactly what it is I was seeking. I was very clear on that. And then what happened is I started to see opportunities come up where little things here and there started to answer my prayer. It was really obvious. Specifically, I wasn't timing it this way, but this weekend we had a 3-day huge conference called Virtual GoPro. It is the biggest business conference in the world. There's 60,000 plus people from all over. And what was amazing is as I was going through this 3-day experience, we were learning from 7-figure a year earners, 7-figure a month earners, Jamie Kern Lima, who sold their company for over $1 billion, like thought leaders, successful people, like a lot of clarity happened. And day by day, I started noticing that my list of questions got answered. Clarity for my business, clarity for my life, clarity for my income, clarity for my purpose, clarity for my brand. These are things that I was asking for. It was just like one by one by one by one, where actually today answered everything absolutely clearly, and decisions were made. And I was just like, wow, God, you answered every single prayer. And I'm so excited. So I just want to share some notes with you here. How is this applicable? One thing that I realized is this: our timing is never God's timing. Our timing is never God's timing. And one thing I learned from this whole process is, while we might want things to happen in a certain timeline, our dreams, our goals, our visions, the things that we want, I realized that God has a perfect plan for everything. He has a perfect timing for everything. And if it's in his will, then it's already going to be done. We don't have to control that. We don't have to do anything about that. In fact, us worrying tends to push that away further. Right? It says, according to your faith, let it be done unto you. So our faith is not in ourselves. Our faith is in God and what it is that he can do. So if God says it, he's going to do it in our lives. Right? So there's a time frame that he goes for, and trying to counter God's timing is such like a bad idea. It's such a not a good strategy. But we have to be patient in those times. We have to trust with faith that God's going to answer his timing at the right time. And it's going to be perfect, and we won't be able to guess it. If we were able to guess his timing on things, so think about a dream that you have in your life, a breakthrough that you want to have in your life. If it's been inspired and it's been a vision, it's been a dream, and it aligns with God's will, meaning does it help other people? Does it elevate him? Does it bring glory to him? If you know that these things are happening, we don't have to worry about it, right? Albert Einstein said, imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. It's very, very true many times. So if we know that these dreams are going to happen, we don't have to worry about the timeline of it. It will come in due time. Now, we don't know the time. It's in God's time, but it will come. So the best thing to do is to be patient and to wait on his time, and to wait on his confirmation, and to wait for his okay on things. If you take a look and you read, actually, it's amazing and it's interesting, whether you're a person of the Bible or not. Interesting story. There's a guy named King Saul. King Saul was the king of the Israelites back then. And he was talking with the prophet. And the prophet told him, God said, basically, go do this by this time. And Saul was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And Saul, instead of obeying the timeline, he got a little antsy, as we do, right? I get super antsy when my timelines are getting close. He got a little antsy, and you know what he did is he cut that time short. It was supposed to be 7 days, but he went on the 6th day, and he did the action. And he completed the task. It was really good. He was invading some village. The prophet comes back on day 7 and was like, Saul, you know what you just did? You went totally against God's timing, basically. And because of that, your blessing is gone. And his blessing was gone. Actually, the blessing went on and it was passed on to a guy named King David. So many times, I know that for me, I don't know about you, I get in the way of God's will. My timing gets in the way. My thoughts, my strategy, I think they're better than what God has. But God has things perfect. So why don't we just trust him and wait for his timing prayerfully and expectantly that it will come at the right time? And the plans are always going to be perfect. We just have to be seeking his voice on that and that confirmation on that. So I realized that God's got a certain timing to things. You know, another thing I realized is God's always right. He's just always right. I'd rather, let's say we're trying to make a decision on something. I'd rather wait for 7 days and then have God answer me on the 7th day with his answer, rather than doing one answer a day on my way, trying to figure it out. His timing's perfect. His timing's great. His wisdom is great. So go with his timing on things. And it's always going to be right. And you're going to know. Your intuition knows. Your heart knows. When you hear clearly from God, you're like, got it. That makes sense now. I feel it. I understand it. I align with it. Let's go on that. Okay. And the last thing I'd say is this: it is so important that as a first case scenario, for all questions we have, for all wisdom we have, I want you to think about the breakthrough that you want to have in your life right now, in your business, your life, your finances. Question: how's it been going? Has it been a struggle like I had? Has it been a challenge like I had? Were there barriers like what I had? If you have, then why not, instead of making God first, why not exactly the knowing, right? Why not make him, instead of making him second place, why not make him first? Why not trust him more? Why not take him on his word? Why not bet him on that and see what he can do? And I realized that during this, that my commitment is I'm always going to put God first. I'm always going to seek his wisdom on everything. I'm always going to seek confirmation on everything before I take my actions. Because me without God is nothing. Me with God is everything. And the same for each and every single one of you as well, too. Okay. So it's been a transformative experience. I can't wait to share with you more. In the next days, I'll share more on what I learned and other experiences as well, too. If you have any questions about this whole experience, and let me know as well, too, in the comments. We'd love to share with you. I'm going to continue every day on this 21 days of breakthrough, by the way. So I've been doing this series of fasting and prayer and study as well, too. So I'm still going to do a certain type of fast, but it won't be a water fast anymore. But I encourage, if anyone's interested in joining and being a part of that, you're seeking clarity, purpose, breakthrough, whether you're a person of faith or not, maybe you're exploring, you're more than welcome to be a part of this as well, because truth is truth. We have a Telegram group that's free to be a part of. It's in the caption. You're more than welcome to join that. And we got 14 days left, but day 7, water fast has been broken with some chicken broth. The best tasting chicken broth I've ever had in the world. 13 pounds lost later in 7 days. Major prayer requests answered in 7 days. And a lot of excitement and vision for the future. So I hope that impacted you. If it did, tag some of this, subscribe. We have this on our YouTube as well too. Share this, all that type of stuff as well. But thanks for tuning in. Other than that, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk.